This is the Trail Hiker website, so I'll just quickly show you guys a few things on here before we get stuck into the review. So I'll just click on this sizing sheet here so you can see the size of the tent when it's been set up. And then I'll just scroll down a bit. You can also see that there's a free footprint included with this tent. And there's that final info there. Now we'll get stuck into the video.
Alright, so before it gets dark, I'm still keeping an eye out for deer, but before it gets dark I'm going to set up this tent that I've got for review. It's a TERRA Nova, can't remember the model, but it was sent to me by Trail Hiker, which is an Aussie website selling some premium backpacking gear and basically outdoor gear as well. So they've been kind enough to send me out this tent. It's not going to be biased at all. I'm not keeping the tent, it's just a review tent, so I'm basically just going to use it and give my feedback on it, so stay tuned. We'll see how long it takes me to set it up. Okay, so it was called a TERRA Nova Southern Cross, so this is a two-person tent, I believe. And I've never set this tent up, so this will be interesting to see how long it takes me. I'm going to try and get rid of some of these rocks before I do that. There's a lot of tent poles. This looks pretty good. Looks like I've got blue tent poles and red tent poles. They've got the reds laid out here. Looks like all I've got to do is clip it in. Well, it's pretty easy to set up, guys. Got double doors. I haven't probably spread this out probably as much as I should have, but it looks quite roomy. Easy to set up. Probably one of the easiest setups I've done on a tent, considering I didn't look at any instructions. Very, very simple. Gotta say, I'm pretty impressed so far. But anyway, I've got to go look for some more deer. Well, it was a pretty quiet morning out in the hills. Saw a couple of hinds and that was it. So I'm just going to pack up this tent, but basically just wanted to have a quick chat about it and talk about condensation, things like that. So it is a 4-season tent. So bathtub style floor, and it's pretty well protected. It's pretty much a little bomb shelter, and I think my favourite part of it so far is just the ease of setting it up. Like the pole design was just very, very smart, and I'm a sucker for external poles. I've got 2 tents at home for backpacking, and both of them are external poles. I just like being able to set up your tent in the rain or snow or whatever it may be, and you're not dealing with a fly at the end of it all. You're not setting up your tent and getting the inner mesh and everything all wet. It's just set it up and it's done. So I do like external pole designs, and this is probably the easiest tent I've ever set up. And looking in here, like you can see that there's been a bit of condensation between the fly and the inner, but none of that's actually come through the inner. Like I didn't get wet at all, and it's quite roomy. One thing I will mention, it's big lengthways. I could probably stretch it out more widthways if I wanted to. So I think you would definitely, I mean, it would be a tight fit like most two-person tents to have two people in here. But like height-wise, if you're a really tall person, this is definitely a tent worth looking at. I felt like I just had a heap of room above my head and at my toes. And the way it's designed, like the tent wasn't laying down in on me or anything. I could still sit up, like I'm sitting in here now, and I've got, you know, quite a bit of room to the top of the inner mesh here. So very well thought out. The doors, basically if you lay on either end, the doors are designed that you've got at least one door that's easy to get stuff in and out of, or for you to get in and out of. So, and then you've got these vestibules here, which I'll give you a look at as well. And then I'm going to time myself packing it up, and I'm going to probably do another chat, and whether this chat here will even make the video, I don't know, but I'll probably set this tent up in the backyard or out in the farm or something where I'm not actually hunting, and I can do a bit more, show you guys a bit more of the tent. But at the moment I'm kind of keen to just get the hell out of these mountains, because it's been pretty quiet and it's cold and miserable, and yeah, I'm pretty keen to just get home and have a coffee. So I'll have a quick, show you guys quickly the vestibule space, and then I'm going to pack it up. There's a fair bit of room, easily enough room for, you know, a couple of backpacks and my tripod, rifle, everything. Like you could do that on both sides. Quick and easy. That's the red poles done. That's the blue pole done. Then I've just got to roll it up. So that's pretty impressive. One big test for all tents is how easily they go back in their tent bag. So we'll test that in a second. So we'll work out the floors. I don't know what weight any of the floor is, but it seems to be quite sturdy. Compact. No, I have not done a great job of rolling this up, so. But this is pretty similar to how I would normally roll up my tent. Anyone that knows me knows I'm pretty rough when it comes to gear and packing it up and whatnot, but this looks like it's going to fit in pretty easily. So I think it's past that with flying colours. What do you guys reckon? Another thing I'll mention that I was super impressed with, so when I first packed this tent up, it was pretty wet. There was quite a heavy dew that morning when I was backpacking, and when I packed it up, it was wet, completely saturated on the outside of the tent. So I thought, good test to see what it was like when I unraveled it and set it back up again. So when I set it up,
and I can't show you guys now because I actually set this up yesterday just to dry out. But when I set it up, there was moisture everywhere except the inner of the tent. So I could have set it up and slept the night and not been wet, which I was pretty impressed about. So that's always a good sign. It had kept the moisture out of where you're going to be sleeping. That's a big thing. It's also got these pull down, so the inner, and then there's just like a fly screen mesh. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty impressed by this tent. So if you're looking for a 4-season tent, basically something, and if you're looking at Hillebergs and things like that, this could be a way to save quite a bit of money and still get a very nice 4-season tent that isn't going to break the bank. So I've been pretty impressed. Alright, this is going to be the end of the review, so I just wanted to go over a few quick things, some pros and some cons. The top of my pros list are going to be the ease of setting up and how dry it stayed in the inner of the tent. I thought that was extremely impressive, and just the ease of setting it up. I did it in under 5 minutes, setting it up and taking it down without reading any instructions, which, mentioning that, there is an instructional video on the Trail Hiker website where it shows someone that knows what they're doing pitching this tent. That's very worthwhile watching. I actually watched it just before and thought, why didn't I watch that before I took this out into the field? But anyway, it still worked and I still easily set it up, so big plus for me. The only 2 cons that I can sort of think of, the first is the weight. Now, admittedly, it is a 4-season tent, so they naturally come with higher weights. But at 2.3 kilo, it is a little bit on the heavier side. But after seeing it and experiencing the construction, and it literally is a little bomb shelter, and I feel like it will compete against the Hillebergs and things like that. I think that the weight's a fair trade-off for the level of shelter you're getting. The second con is the door zippers, so the zippers on the inner fly. I felt like they just felt a little bit flimsy, and I mean, all backpacking tents feel a little bit flimsy on the zip sometimes, just because they're trying to cut weight in every place and every way they can. But just something I thought I would mention. But other than that, this thing really impressed me, surprisingly so. I've got my Kudu Mountain Star, my Vango Banshee 200 in the spare room there in my hunting room, and if I had to go out and buy a new tent, I'd be seriously considering one of these. I'm not going to. I won't be buying one of these because I've already got 2 backpacking tents, as I said earlier. But for someone thinking about getting into it and you want a solid 4-season proof tent, I think this is a really good one to look at. So, and like I said in that video, the external poles are just a massive win factor for me. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling on about stuff. Check out the Trail Hiker website. Link will be in the description. So anyway, hope that's helped someone out, and cheers.